Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Keep It Pro training call brought to you by Networking Wisdom. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Keep It Pro training call brought to you by Networking Wisdom each and every Sunday for the past 4.5 years at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The purpose of this call is not only to teach you principles of success in business and network marketing, but also in life. Thank you for joining us. My name is Meredith, and I have the pleasure to introduce the creator and host of this call, Mr. Romacio Fulcher. Romacio is a well-respected international leader, trainer, coach, and much sought-after mentor. He became a millionaire at the age of 25 years old through mortgage and real estate, and soon after was introduced to network marketing. He was an ideal student and learned from the best, quickly rising to the top with success. He has been the top 50 earners in all of MLM. Since then, he's helped countless people worldwide earn life-changing income. Romacio enjoys to have fun and share his wisdom to help others advance in life. He is a millionaire mentor, leader of leaders, coach of coaches. Romacio knows how to make money, and he knows how to make it fast. What we love most about him is his love for God and mankind. Without further ado, let me introduce to you the host, Romacio Fulcher. Romacio, are you there?
Absolutely, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
All righty. Thank you so much, Meredith, for stepping up, knocking it out the park once again with another outstanding introduction. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hey, listen, guys, I want to welcome everybody that's here today back for another edition of the Keep It Pro training call. We've been doing this call for 4 years. You know, I'm always amazed, and I'm always so grateful to receive the pleasantry. Time to time, I receive emails, texts, and social media messages saying thank you. Just, really, letting me know how much these calls mean to various different individuals and how this specific call done at this specific time has really helped add to many people's lives. You know, that really, really blesses me tremendously. You know, to be candidly and to be frank with you guys, we all are human beings, right? We all have good days, bad days. The name of the game, baby, is to have more good than bad, right? Well, let's put it to you this way. On some of my bad days, some of the things that keep me going, some of the things that keep me alive, some of the reasons why I continue to do this call every Sunday for the last 4 years, whether there's 1 million people listening or just one person listening, it's all because of something that we say all the time. And I'm going to say it again today for those of you that are new or those of you that are back and maybe you never heard me say it. But the thing that keeps me going is that you can slice an apple open. You can count the seeds inside of an apple, but you cannot count the apples in a seed. Let me say it again. You can physically count the seeds that are inside of an apple, but you cannot count the apples that are inside of a seed. So what does that mean? It simply means you never know who the one person that you could be talking to and the barn fire that they are going to light. You never know. It only takes one. It only takes one. You know, for those of you that are actually doing ministry work, or those of you that are doing whatever work you're trying to do, and maybe perhaps you're looking at your social media platform and you're wondering why you don't have more followers, or maybe you're in ministry or whatever it is that you do, and you're wondering, man, I want more people to notice me. Listen to the California kid himself, baby. Listen. Whether it's one person there or it's 1 million people there, baby, when it's lights, camera, action, it's showtime. Say it again. Whether it's one person there or 1 million people there, when it's lights, camera, action, it's showtime. Always remember, you never know. You never know who you're talking to. Don't ever underestimate the power of one person. Don't ever underestimate just because you were expecting maybe 1,000 people to be in the room when you got there, or you were expecting all of these people. See, God loves, he loves to surprise us. He really does. He loves to, he's full of surprises. And so I just want to encourage you guys. Again, I really want to say thank you to all of you that have sent pleasantries and sent all the love, and I love you back. I really appreciate you, and that's the reason why we keep this call going. And, the funny thing is that leads me right into today's topic. It really does. It sets it up perfect. Today's topic is a very special topic that I'm going to take my time to really try and unpack this for you, okay? I want to let you know that this topic that we're talking about today is for every single person that will listen to this call, both those of you that are listening live and, of course, those of you that are listening to the replay. I hope and I pray that those that stumble across this call, I hope that maybe you were intending to look for Johnny's page on YouTube, and you stumbled across Romacio Fulcher, and you wondered this title was so provocative that you said, let me hear what this guy has to say. And I hope that by you listening to this call right now, whenever it is that you land here, I hope that it stirs something up in you. I hope that this call really starts a fire in you and really begins to open up a conversation for you to pursue a direction on purpose. And guys, the theme of this call today, is, who are you assigned to? I'm going to say it again. Who are you assigned to? If we take it back to biblical days, and I don't want to get too biblical, but let's just kind of park there for a quick second. If we go back to biblical time, you will find that all the different prophets back then, all the different prophets, one of the things that allowed them to be the ones that were extremely victorious, one of the things that allowed them to be powerful is that each of them were assigned to someone. Each of them were assigned to someone. Now, I can go down the list, and we can talk about Moses, we can talk about David, we can talk about Elijah. I can go down the list, Isaiah, but I don't want to do that. Just for the sake of context, I want you to understand that the God that created us, the God that we serve, he's a God of purpose. He doesn't make any mistakes. And I know it's kind of funny because we live our lives, and sometimes we have a lot of questions, and we wonder oftentimes, well, is this a mistake? Did I make a mistake? Did I get that wrong? I was listening to Joyce Myers earlier today, and I love one of the statements she made, and she talked about how God always will take something wrong and make it right if you continue to trust him. He will always take something wrong and make it right. And the relevance of that statement in context of what we're talking about right now is that I want you to know that God doesn't make any mistakes. There is no mistakes. And so I know that, when I was a young man, I used to always wanted to be with the in crowd. I wanted this type of girl and that type of girl, and I wanted to do this and go to this type of school. I wanted all the things that I thought would bring about popularity, bring about fame, bring about success. I had this imagination, this image in my mind of what I thought I was supposed to do. You guys heard my joke. I tell it all the time. I was supposed to be 6'6", a bald head. They were supposed to call me Michael, and my last name was supposed to be Jordan. Sound familiar? That was me. That was me as a little kid. I had Michael Jordan posters everywhere. I used to play basketball from dusk till dawn, and I used to stick my tongue out just like Mike. And unfortunately, we couldn't afford the Jordans back then, but I took my pro wings, and I did the best I could with what I had, and I was just hoping one day I was going to get a late growth spurt and become Michael Jordan. I studied Michael Jordan. I watched how he walked. I watched how he talked. I watched how he dressed. I watched how he handled situations. I studied this man. And my whole aspiration was, man, I wanted to be like Mike. And I'm just telling you, for years and years and years of my life, that was somebody that I wanted to be like. And, when you're a young person, and it doesn't just mean by age, you could be young in your maturity level. We all have aspirations in people that we want to be like, and sometimes we force the issue. I want you to underline that right there. Sometimes we force the issue. I want to say that again. Sometimes we force the issue. In other words, what does that mean? It means we're so determined to have what we want, to have what we want. In my case, I'm giving you the example of wanting to be Michael Jordan, right? I don't know what yours is, but I know that you have something as well where you forced the issue. Maybe it was a man that you really wanted so bad, and he wasn't even your man. Maybe it was something that you really, really wanted, and you forced the issue. You had to make it so. You wouldn't take no for an answer because that's the way you saw yourself. And have you ever, if you keep living long enough, one of the things you'll find is that a lot of times when you force the issue, you may get what you want right then and there, but you'll later learn it probably would have been best if you would have stayed away from that thing that you forced the issue on. Let me say that again. See, part of the power of free will is we can do what we choose, right? Part of God's love is he doesn't force himself on us, right? We get to do what we choose. But when you get to do what you choose, it's your prerogative to choose that, but that may not be what God had intended for you. Oh, we're going somewhere today, baby. We're going somewhere today. I hope you're listening. We are going somewhere today. What we're saying here, guys, is when you force the issue, sometimes it can take you off what your purpose really is, all because you're forcing it. And what I want to encourage you today, I want to encourage you to ask God. Go to your Creator who didn't make a mistake and say these words to him. Lord, I want you to show me, who am I assigned to? That is a powerful statement. Say it with me. Who am I assigned to? You see, watch this. Again, I want you to see how amazing God is. There you are today, and you've got some type of challenge in your life. I don't know what it is. It could be money. It could be health, relationship, job, spirituality, something. We all got something going on, right? But did you not know that someone out there has the answer to your problem? Someone out there has the solution to your challenge. And so what I'm asking you to do is I'm asking you to ask God, who am I assigned to? You know, many of you that listen to me, I don't even know your name. I couldn't spot you in a one-man or a one-woman lineup. I don't know your name. I know your spirit because I'm assigned to talk to you. Don't ask me why. Look, man, I can't answer all that. I just know this is what I'm supposed to do, and the people that's supposed to hear it, they gonna find it. That's what I'm supposed to do. And I don't get caught up in all the fanfare and fame. I just do what I'm supposed to. You say, well, why do you do that, Moss? Because when you learn to live a life, when you learn to chase your purpose, you won't have to chase paper. When you learn to chase purpose, you can jump in your car 2 minutes before the call and knock it out the park time after time because you don't need notes because you are the note. You see, everybody can't do that. And it's not bragging. No one's trying to brag. But see, it just, each and every single one of you, you have a purpose. You have been assigned to someone's. You have. And I'm not just talking about your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. God did not make a mistake when he created you. But the problem I face is when I spent year after year after year trying to be something that God did not intend for me to be. I was trying to be Michael Jordan. Now listen, there was nothing wrong with being inspired by Michael Jordan. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. But I was trying to be something that God did not intend for me to be. Now let's take it a step further. Michael Jordan is one of a kind. Michael Jordan was assigned to our time for him to, in part, to be a professional basketball player and to be, in my opinion, the best basketball player that will ever live. Now, look here, we don't need to debate. We can step outside and talk about that. But to me, that is the best to ever lace him up, baby. That's the best. The best. No, I love Kobe. I love LeBron. I love them all. But look here, my first love is MJ, baby. MJ for president all day, right? So what I'm saying, though, but thank God for MJ. Thank God for Michael Jordan. That's not what God intended me to be. Now imagine, stay with the story. I'm talking to you about a story. Imagine how frustrated I would have been if I would have continued to try and force the issue. Well, God, how come I'm not 6'6"? How come I'm not in the NBA? I used to play basketball all the time. I worked really hard. You see, there's nothing wrong with having personal desires. We all have them. But God is an investor, and you are his investment. He's an investor, and you are his investment. And he's going to get his return from his investment. I'm not saying that you can't go be and do this. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, your life will begin to have much more meaning and much more purpose the moment you uncover who are you assigned to. You know, I was listening to one of my spiritual mentors, Bishop T.D. Jakes. You guys know I'm a T.D. Jakes fan, but I love them all. I love Joyce Myers. I love Osteen. I love Bishop. I love Ivy Hilliard. I mean, I just love wisdom. You know, I'm a sucker for it, baby. If it's right, if it's coming from the book, man, I love it. I love it. That's just me. But I was listening to Bishop T.D. Jakes, and I was reminded that they told him early on in his ministry that he wouldn't make it, that he wouldn't go far, because his ministry, he had a heart for talking to the quote-unquote down and outers, you know, the people that had gone through tough times and had just been, they call them quote-unquote down and outers, right? And that's where his love was. That's where he had a passion to talk to. That's who he had a passion to minister to. And look at T.D. Jakes today, worth over almost $200 million, one of the greatest bishops of our time. I mean, a man who's well respected by, I'm talking whites, blacks, Asians, everybody, and everybody in between. I mean, look at him. What's my point? My point is the man knew who he was assigned to. And I can look at Joyce Myers. Look at Joyce Myers, an amazing testimony. I mean, that woman went through hell and back. You know, if you don't know, story of being sexually abused by her own daddy for 15, 16 years. I mean, she had anger. Look, she had anger issues, all sorts of issues. But look at her now on 365 television shows, 232 radio shows. Come on, somebody. What am I talking about? She knew who she was assigned to. Now, look, the purpose of the call is not to make you a Joyce Myers or a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant or a T.D. Jakes or a Romacio Fulcher. That's not the purpose of the call. But the purpose of the call is this provocative question. Do you know who you are assigned to? Could that be part of the reason why you're just not happy with what you're doing? Because you're not at the proper place where you were assigned to be? Looks like we didn't hit a nerve. Could that be the reason why you go to work to home, home to work, you do it again and again and again and again, and it just doesn't give you any joy or a sense of purpose? Or you find yourself, man, I could do this in my sleep. I'm thankful for the money that they pay me, but, I'm really not fulfilled in what I'm doing. Could it be that's not what you're assigned to do? Yes, I do believe in stepping stones. Every stone leads to the next. I certainly believe in that. But I also believe in purpose. I believe in destiny. I believe in purpose. I believe you are assigned to someone. I do believe all things work together for the good. I do believe that. But today's purpose on today's call is to get you to stop and think and ask the question, who am I assigned to, Lord? Who am I assigned to? See, God knew you before you were ever formed in your mother's womb. God knows everything about you. He has all knowledge, right? Why not stop? Get still just for a moment. Just for a moment. And say, Lord, show me who I'm assigned to. Make it so clear to me. Make it so abundantly clear to me that even Ray Charles, who was blind, make it so clear that even Ray Charles could see it. Make it so clear that I can't miss it, God. Who am I assigned to? You see, when you line up with what your assignment is, things will quicken them. Things will quicken to you. Things will become easier for you because that's a part of your purpose. That's a part of your assignment. That all of a sudden you won't have to struggle. You know, it perplexes me. It really does. It perplexes me how I can do what I'm doing right now and be right on purpose, right on time, with absolutely no pieces of paper in front of me. And again, I'm only pointing that out to make a point. When you know who you're assigned to, what you're assigned to, it makes it so much easier for you. When you know who you're assigned to, what you're assigned to, it makes it easier for you. Again, we're not just talking about personal relationships. We're talking about business. We're talking about your life. I want to take you down a road really quickly, and I want to talk about things that don't quite fit. You know, I believe that as human beings, you know, you hear words like, you hear words like your vibe attracts your tribe. You hear words like, I'm not feeling her, or I'm not feeling him, or I'm not feeling that. And let's really unpack what these statements are really, really saying. What they're saying is, I don't feel connected to you. That's what they're saying. I don't quite fit with that, whatever that is. And so I want to take you down this pathway of things that don't fit. Have you ever dated someone? You guys went out, you had some dinner, had a good time, and continued to walk down the little dating yellow brick road, and all of a sudden, it just didn't fit. Nothing was wrong with the brother. He wasn't for you. Oftentimes I'm reminded of young ladies that have said, he was a nice guy. He just wasn't for me. he just wasn't for me. And then I've heard some of the fellas say, well, she was cool. She was cool, but that just wasn't it. That wasn't it for me either. What am I saying? I'm talking about illustrations of situations that don't fit. I'm trying to make a point here. You see? And so before you can ever know what something that does fit feels like, oftentimes you experience things that don't fit. And I'm not just talking about guy-girl relationships. I'm talking about everywhere. Let me give you an example. When I was a young man, and I'm not a gangbanger. I don't have anything against it. That's just that doesn't fit for me. That's just not who Romacio is. I'm not going to shoot you in your chest and take your chain. That's just not me. Look, I'm not making fun of those people. That's just not me. But growing up in East Oakland, we were around the epitome of crime. We were around, crime at all-time levels, all-time highs. Gunshots every single night. Every single night we heard gunshots. Every night. But so in other words, the opportunity for me to join a gang or to be a part of, something that wasn't for me, it was always present. But that just didn't fit with me. All right? Let me tell you another example. I went to college. Many of you know I went to college here in Sacramento, Sac State University. I went to college, and certainly, I went to the parties. Of course I did, baby. You can't go to college and don't go to a party. No. You got to get some party in, right? I went to the parties, and guess what I saw at the parties? They would pull out the cocaine and the alcohol. Uh-oh, I'm leaving, and I would instantly leave. Look, I'm not judging people that do cocaine and alcohol. Sin is sin. We all miss the mark. So I ain't here to judge. I'm here to make a point. My point is that didn't fit with me. I can tell you, let me give you some other example. Now, this one, watch this one. There are specific family members in my family that literally when I would hang around them, I just didn't like their vibe. They were too negative. They were too jealous. They were too envious. And I just didn't like their vibe. I just didn't like it. So consequently, I don't come around them very often. What I'm describing to you over and over and over again, various different places where I did not belong. I didn't fit. I wasn't assigned to those places. Now listen to me and hear me well, because this is going to shock all of you that are listening. When you finally discover the place that is for you, when you finally discover the people that is for you, the place where you have been assigned, the people that you've been assigned to, when you finally discover it, I want to make it adamantly clear to you, it will not be a day of perfection. It will not be everything is going to be hunky-dory and everything is going to be perfect. That's not true. When you finally find the place where you are assigned to, it is not it's not a rainbow. It's not a place of perfection where everything is going to be peaches and cream. It's not true. Which leads me into my final point. For all of you that do follow me on Facebook, and if you don't follow me, I want you to go to my page. And if you don't go to my page, I'm going to post this on my YouTube channel. My Facebook page is my first and last name, Romacio Fulcher. I want you to go there, and I want you to watch what I just posted. It's a video from Joyce Myers. I want everyone to watch it. Everyone. I don't care who you are, where you are. I'm going to post this on my YouTube page as well. Part 1 and Part 2. It's called Suffering. You got to watch this. And I want you to watch it with an open mind and pay attention and take notes. Because as she talks about suffering, which, by the way, nobody loves to suffer, nobody loves to talk about it, but it's a part of maturing. It's a part of maturity. But I want you to, as you're watching it, one of the things I want you to really focus on is I want you to focus on when she discovered that she was in the right place. When she discovered who she was assigned to, I want you to pay attention to how she had to suffer. And I want you to understand what the word suffer means. And I'm not going to tell you right now. So suffering is a part of God's promise. See, nobody loves to talk about that. Everybody loves to talk about naming and claiming and, praise this and praise that. You're going to have this. But nobody wants to talk about what you got to go through to get what he promised you. All throughout the Bible, yes, God's promises are clear. He promised this and he promised that. And he will fulfill his promise. But do you know he never told you when? He never says when. He just says he will do it, yet amen. It will be done. He never said when. And I love how Joyce Myers articulated it. We love to talk about the beginning. Oh, I got all these wonderful desires. I want to be this. I want to do that. Blah, blah. We love to talk about our goals and dreams, and we should. And then notice what I just said, the few people that do reach their goals and dreams, they love to talk about them and give praise reports about how wonderful they are, and we love hearing them. But let me tell you what's most important is what happens in the middle. What happens in the middle between the beginning and the end. Everything that happens in the middle between now and then. That's what's most important. And that's part of that is suffering. And I want you to go and watch the video, because when you watch that video, you will understand the point that I'm making, that when you do finally uncover who you are assigned to, what you are assigned to, you will see that suffering is a part of that. That's powerful. It's so powerful. You know, it makes me think about my mom. My mom is like one of the angels of my life. Many of you know how much I honor and respect my mom, and I also respect my dad as well. My mother and father, they're two totally different. I mean, I'm talking about north and south different. I mean, literally, I'm talking about south, way south different, right? They totally different, right? But, and as a young man growing up, you know how boys tend to take after their moms and stuff like that, you know, and as a young man growing up, there were some things that my mom, my parents went through some relationship struggles. And I remember as a young man, I didn't want my mom to be with my father. I was like, why don't you get rid of that brother? Kick him to the curb, right? But my mother knew best. And I'm so glad that I'm so glad that she chose not to do that. In other words, what she did is she chose to suffer some things for the greater good of her two children, me and my younger brother. And I'm forever grateful. I'm forever thankful to her doing that. But I did not understand back then why she chose to do that. As I began to learn more and more and more about suffering, see, I thought, like many of you, how many people think, well, you know what, when you finally are assigned to the place that you're supposed to be, it's going to be peaches and cream, and everything is going to work like a charm, and it's just going to be, happy day. And, it's going to be hunky-dory, and there won't be any tough times, and it's just going to all be like, it's going to be like, it's going to be like water. It's just going to flow. See, that's what I thought. But it wasn't until I began to get deeper in my spirituality that I began to understand the purpose of suffering. And I'm talking about, man, you're talking about if you really want to mature, I dare you to suffer through something. Woo! Woo! I love how Joyce Meyer said it. I love how she said, don't leave just because you get mad. Don't leave just because you're sad. Don't leave until God tells you to leave. And see, that reminds me of one of the most inspiring people of my entire life. That's my grandfather. One of the words he used to always say, grandson, some things, according to God's word, you have to learn to suffer it to be so. He said, some things you got to learn to suffer it to be so. And I remember, I didn't understand what he was talking about because, it was a Saturday morning, and we thought we were going to go fishing with Grandpa. And unbeknownst to us, Grandpa had just went fishing on Thursday with some of his sons. And come Saturday, we thought we were going to go fishing with Grandpa, on Saturday. And my grandmother would say to my grandfather, his name was Sam, you ain't going fishing today. And we didn't know what to say. Grandma said no, and we thinking we're going because Grandpa told us we was going. And Grandpa was caught in a pickle. He told his grandkids, we going fishing on Saturday, but Grandma said, no, you ain't going today, Sam. And I remember my grandfather would look at us, and he said, sons, we can't go today. Some things you have to learn to suffer it to be so. And I remember listening to that years and years ago, suffer it to be so. What that mean? You're supposed to be the man of the house. What you say, Grandpa, go, right? No, grandson, some things, I'll never forget this. You got to suffer it to be so. And it wasn't until recently that I began to start learning how suffering is tied into the promises that God has made for you. Did you catch that? Suffering is tied into the promises that God has made for you. Now let's bring this all the way back to the genesis of this conversation. Who are you assigned to? When you finally discover who you are assigned to and what you are assigned to, things will flow to you easier. That's true. There will be a level of ease in how you do what you do. Did you catch me? Let me say that again. When you finally discover who you're assigned to and what you're assigned to, there will be an ease of flow. Things will flow without strain. But do not misunderstand me. You are still going to have trials and tribulations. What does that mean? You're going to go through some hell. You're going to go through some tough times. And as Joyce Meyer said, don't you leave until God tells you to leave. In other words, part of God maturing you, here we go, there it is, part of God maturing you, part of God stretching you, part of God developing you is letting you go through some suffering so that he can mature you into the full-grown person he intended you to be. So, we got a twofold message here today. Number one, who are you assigned to? I want you to spend some time in that quiet place asking that question. God, who am I assigned to? What am I assigned to? You know, the California kid is making sense. Someone out there does have the answer to my challenges. Someone does have the solution to my challenges. That does make sense to me. And if someone has the answer for you, then guess what? You have got the answer for someone. That's right. So who are you assigned to? Again, get Romacio off your mind. I want you to get Michael Jordan off your mind. You can't be Romacio, and Romacio can't be you. But I dare you, I challenge you, I encourage you to find out who it is that you're assigned to. Find out who you're assigned to. I gave you two totally different stories, one of a pastor and one of an NBA basketball player, Michael Jordan. I gave you three stories. I talked about Joyce Myers, a lady sexually abused by her father for 16 years. Lady who hated her dad and she hated her mother. But look at how God is using her now. Look at how successful she's becoming because she suffered it to be so. Woo! She suffered it to be so. She found out who she was assigned to. And look at how she's shining now. Michael Jordan discovered who he was assigned to. And because of it, he's a multi-billionaire. T.D. Jakes, he was assigned to the down and outers. And look at him now, almost 200 million strong, one of the biggest ministries, most prolific ministries of our time. Well respected well beyond his years. What's the purpose? God didn't make a mistake when he created Michael Jordan, Joyce Myers, and T.D. Jakes. And he certainly didn't make a mistake when he created you and I. So I want to encourage you loud and clear. Fall to your knees. Ask God, who am I assigned to? Make it clear to me, please. Make it clear to me, who am I assigned to? For you know everything about me. Who am I assigned to? Is part one of this message. And part two of this message, I want you to go to my Facebook page, go to my YouTube page, and I want you to listen to both part one and part two of Joyce Myers' Suffering, part one, and Suffering, part two. I want you to understand the power of suffering, especially when you finally uncover who you're assigned to. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a powerful message, and I approve this message. I approve this message. And so I want you to we got 20 minutes left. I want to go ahead and cut the call short. I want you to get off the phone, immediately rush over there to my Facebook page, watch that video. The first one is 28 minutes. The second one is 25 minutes. Watch it right now. I'm telling you, you'll thank me for watching this message. It is going to answer many questions in your mind. And just remember what we're talking about. Your life will be so much better, so much more peaceful, so much more joy, so much more passion. It'll be so much more fluid the moment you uncover who it is you are assigned to. Each and every single prophet in the Bible, they were assigned to someone. And there's no place like receiving God's favor, specifically when you are operating under purpose, when you are where you are assigned to be. The favor that God will actually flow your way will blow you away, specifically when you are honoring what your assignment. Each and every single one of us has an assignment. We are assigned to, just because you're married, just because you're introvert, does not eliminate the fact that God has assigned you to someone or someones. I want you to find, who are you assigned to? There's no place like home. Find your fit. Find your fit. Find your fit. I'm the California Kid. I love you guys. I'll see you guys all next week. Watch those videos. See you guys later. Bye-bye, everybody.